More snow, but opening day, a couple weeks down the road. O's looking good. Let's get back to foreign policy. It's a Sunday. They're going to be supposedly announcing all these actions that we in the European Union is going to take on Monday, sanctions. But if we watch what's going on, it's really kind of a sad situation. While everybody's focused on this Malaysian jet that disappeared, and just think how lucky Putin is and the president is to have that dominate the airways. We're sitting here and the Russians keep moving into Ukraine. And we do nothing. And the EU does nothing, a lot of talk. Today, or it was last night, they took over a gas power generator and gas power station or whatever, natural gas, and that was on the Ukrainian, on Ukraine principle in the prime area, and they're massing their troops, and they're just going to do what they want to do while we keep talking and talking and talking. So while we announce that there may be sanctions, it appears, nobody knows for sure, but it appears that the Russians have now all these billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars that they had on credit with the Fed has now disappeared. So they got their money out. While we talk, they act. And then what are we going to do even if we do initiate some sanctions? Because what's going to happen is Putin's then going to take another action. He's going to go, hey, so what, they're doing this, let me make my next move, whatever that's going to be. It appears that what he's doing is he's sending provocateurs into the eastern part of Ukraine, so in those cities they're starting to have problems. Then he can say, they want me there, they need me there. Man, what's going to happen if Putin decides that the Russians in America need help? Is he going to show up on the East Coast? Makes one wonder. And what are we going to do? We have no idea. So here we are, not even taking the first action, while Putin keeps taking action after action after action, and then maybe we'll do something on Monday, and then he's going to do something in an aggressive way, and then we're going to sit there and go, wow, it's the 21st century, you're not supposed to act this way, but we're not prepared to take any further action at that point. We'll just get more bummed and wag our finger, which we're so good at doing. We don't need military force. We need to really get crazy with the sanctions, to get the oligarchs' money and do it now before they take it all. Start freezing their stuff in different countries. Why the oligarchs put their money in America? Because they figure it's protected here. It isn't protected in Russia. One other little side note. Everybody keeps trying to compare this to Georgia. And during Bush's last year, I think it was a couple months before Bush's second term ended. This is not Georgia. Yeah, George Bush probably should have done something. His problem, though, was he had no support, no power. He's going to be ousted. Well, not ousted. We don't oust in this country. Replaced in a couple months. He, of course, couldn't run for re-election. And Iraq had killed him. Afghanistan was going nowhere. So there was really nothing he could do. But Georgia is also a lot different than Ukraine. Everybody forgets. Ukraine turned over incredible amounts of nuclear weapons after the USSR tumbled. And in return for turning over those nuclear weapons, they signed an agreement that the United States and Russia signed, recognizing their territory, recognizing Ukrainian territory. So in return for turning over their nuclear weapons, Georgia didn't have nuclear weapons, in return for Ukraine turning over their nuclear weapons, and they had a lot of them, we guaranteed their territory, and so did Russia. That's the big difference. You can't compare this to Georgia. No, not military. We're not going to be able to do military here. We're on wind down. The Ukrainians can't do their own fighting, and the EU, who knows what they're going to do. But we got to get strong, and we got to start pushing back, because while this happens, the president tells us Iran's kind of moving forward. Who knows? Of course, Syria's still doing their thing with the chemicals. They still got them, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary of State. So Russia, all this kind of goes under the guise of that. Every now and then we see some missiles fired from Hamas into Israel. Hopefully that will stay quiet. And Bashar al-Assad, who the president said was going to be knocked out, of course, is running around. He's up for his third term in 7 years, and he's out cruising around kissing babies, and we've done nothing. What a sad, sad situation. And at the last point is, what's the Senate doing? Supposedly we're going to lend them $1 billion. But what's the Senate fighting over? Not the $1 billion. Over whether or not there's going to be another piece that's been added to the bill that will supposedly clean up some actions that the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, takes. What are you doing that for, Senator Reid? What are you doing that for, you other senators who are putting it out there? The issue is Ukraine. Nothing else. Ukraine. Give them the money. Worry about the IMF later. Maybe that's why the Democrats are worried about losing the Senate. It's just a bad situation out there. And it's only going to get worse before it gets better, because it always gets better. Peace.